Thank you for joining me once again in the shop. Today, we're going to be making ourselves some Damascus. I got some 1080, some 5920, and we're going to forge that out into a medium layer billet, probably around 70 or 90 layers. And we're going to forge ourselves a little Quillon dagger. So this is going to be hopefully a four part build is the plan. I don't know what I'm making the guard out of yet, or the pommel, but we're going to start with the blade and just kind of see where the piece goes from there. So we'll throw these in the vise and we're going to get welding. Now I'll put this billet back in the forge to cool down slowly. Alright, so I went ahead and I made up 2 starting billets. 12 layers so far. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean these up. I'm going to cut them into 4 sections each, so there'll be 8 pieces. I'm going to re-weld those together. We're going to jump back in the forge to reforge weld them, draw them back out, and bring the layer count up a bit. On the anvil, I'm going to gently set them on the press as well. all forged out. I'm gonna hop on the grinder here and clamp the profile, take some of the scale off, and we will get a peek at the pattern hiding under there. I didn't do anything too extreme. Might be a little ladder patterning in there, but I wanted this one to be just pretty random. Surface grinding just to flatten everything out. A nice distal taper going on this piece. Now I'm just going to rough grind it so I can expose some of the pattern. I have one side rough ground. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Totally freehand grinding. And this is a darkening solution. It's not going to etch away a lot of the metal. It just darkens the high carbon. And that looks pretty cool. We're going to do some close-ups of this because that looks awesome. Well, I finally got something that is pretty consistently ladder pattern. It's not a whole lot of contrast, but that pattern really looks awesome. Been normalized and thermocycled. Now I'm going to toss it into the oven here, bring it up to about 1480 degrees, and then we will quench it. dagger is out of the quench. I have all the oil cleaned off. It's cool to the touch now, so I can show you the pattern really came through in the heat treat. And we are very, very straight. So, I just need to temper it twice. And then we can proceed with the finishing work. Now that is where I'm going to end this episode. I'm going to throw this in the oven, get it tempering twice. I'll do 2 times at 450 degrees. I want it to be very, very flexible and not risk any kind of breaking if poking it into something. I am going to plan the handle. I will have details on that in the next episode. I am really excited with how the pattern is looking on here. I have not done any Damascus daggers yet. I've done quite a bit of Damascus, but never a Damascus dagger, so I'm very, very excited to get that kind of under my belt and on display. This is going to be a really cool build, so I hope you follow along with me. It's the first episode. There will be several more at least, so if you like what you saw today, please like and subscribe. So I want to thank you for watching this episode. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I will catch you on the next episode. Let's make a knife. It is quite the chilly morning here in the shop, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start the forge. Yeah, it's pretty cold. So we're going to warm it up in here. We're going to make the guard and the pommel. I have some hex bar laid out over here. I'm going to start the forge, and I just redid my whole forging space. Look at that. That is way more efficient. I'm really excited to do some work right here. I mean, just look at that. That is the perfect place to forge. So I actually have 3 guards heating up in the forge. I have the dagger guard, a long sword guard, and a short sword guard over here. So that's why you see multiple in the forge. We're making 3 guards today, at least. I have the guard all forged and rough shaped. I also have the pommel, which has been rough shaped. And I chose the handle material. So this is my thoughts for the handle. Really nice guard. Some of my titanium Damascus. I found this amazing piece of ambonia burl. And another piece of titanium Damascus. And the pommel. And the blade is just going to look so nice with all of that together. So I'm going to jump on the grinder, clean up the blade, and then we'll get the handle fit. I'm really excited to be at the halfway mark for building this knife. It's been such a fun build so far. I haven't made many daggers, so I'm really excited to make kind of an over-the-top dagger. I cannot wait to get this all finished up, get everything perfect, everything nice and polished. It is going to look fantastic. I'm really excited to continue on this build. I have it at a 120 grit here. We are going to do a little test etch. This is just a darkening solution. It doesn't eat away much of the steel, but it will show us the pattern pretty well. There we go. That is test etch. That is looking really cool. I have the guard marked up. I marked it up as if I was putting the whole bottom of the knife in here, but I'm not. I'm just doing the Tang. I'll fit it all up real nicely. So I just need to mark kind of where that Tang is, so I can drill some pilot holes, and then I will start hand filing. Now that the guard is all fit up, I'm going to drill through the handle material and get that fit up to the Tang as well. And then I will get the pommel fit up and the 2 titanium Damascus spacers. So let's get drilling. we have the guard all fit up. The handle is very, very close, so I left a little space for the titanium Damascus spacer. I'm just going to use an end cut off of this billet. And the next thing is I'm going to bring down the profile on the pommel a little bit so it's angled thinner right here, and this will be the spacer for in between these two pieces. So let's finish getting all the rough fitting done on this handle, and then I can drill and thread the pommel, and we can really start finishing this up. And now I will Dremel out the section here in the titanium Damascus so we can fit the Tang through there. I'll probably do a little filing. I'll clean up with some hand files after I use the Dremel. Now I have to do the finish grinding on the spacer so it matches up perfectly with the slight curvature of the guard. But that is good enough for a rough fit up. So I have it rough fit up. Some gaps that I have to fix here and there, but that is all in the fine finishing work. A little bit more file work on the guard, and then it will be kind of shaping spacers in the handle material, and then it's all finishing from there. So I'm really, really happy with how this is going. It's going to look really cool with the titanium Damascus spacers. And still haven't decided on what I'm doing for the guard, for the texture. It will be flush fit up. There will be no gaps there. Those will disappear as I continue working all of this into perfect order. I think I might do kind of a rougher texture on the guard, maybe do something that's kind of a dark gray that goes well with the high carbon steel in the Damascus, which is the darker one. And I'm really just loving that handle material. That Ambonia burl is fantastic. Thank you for watching the second episode of the Quillon Dagger. I am really happy with how this is going. It's all just finish work from here, and this thing is going to be absolutely gorgeous when it is done. I think this is probably the most ornate knife I have ever made. That's why I like doing YouTube. It kind of pushes me to do the craziest stuff I possibly can. Make these knives as beautiful as as possible, as beautiful as I'm able to. Because of that, I learned to forge titanium Damascus, which is not an easy feat. And I have my stainless Damascus game down too. I've gotten good results the last 3 billets, so there will be a video on that at a later date. But I'm just really, really happy with how much making these videos has been pushing me, both to make a better video and to make a better knife, which is really cool. So I want to thank you once again for watching all of these. There will be one last video in this series of all the finished work. So I hope you will catch that 3rd video for this knife. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I will be doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers. I haven't decided quite what yet, but it is going to be something little and cool that I can just give away to any of my subscribers. And then there will be another giveaway at 1,000. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm really excited to keep making videos for you guys. So I want to thank you one last time for watching today, and catch you next time on Let's Make a Knife. Back to the shop. I'm here, you're here, we're both here for another episode of Let's Make a Knife. This is the 3rd and final episode where I will be finishing this amazing Quillon dagger. Everything is rough fit, and now it is time to get everything exactly perfect on the fit. Nice and tight, no wiggle. Got a lot of file work to go on the handle, and I will be doing all the final shaping on the handle pieces. I'm going for an heirloom fit, so they're not going to be perfectly flush. They're going to be just a little rounded out, each individual piece, and I'll kind of show you better what that means through the process. First, we're going to finish the guard, get the guard fit perfectly, and then we will finish the blade and then solder the guard. That's kind of an interesting order, but it ensures that I do not scratch the blade after it's been finished, because once it's finished and the guard is soldered, cleaning up any mistakes on the blade is tough, really tough. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I have all the pieces marked up as to how I am going to shape each individual piece. They're labeled on each side so I do not essentially forget which way they go on the knife. Pretty tight fit. So now I'm going to clean up the face of the guard here, and we'll do the final fit up. So the face of the guard has been all cleaned up. Just a slight gap there. Now it's time to do the final filing and sanding to get a perfectly flush fit. I'd say that that's pretty much gapless. So I have the titanium Damascus spacer right where I want it. Now I'm going to finish grinding the guard, and then I have to do a little extra fit up on this titanium Damascus spacer. For a lot of very fine work on the grinder, I'm very close. All of these surfaces done, except for the pommel. I will do that absolutely last to make sure that I get everything straight. Now I'm going to finish grind the blade. 400 grit belt here. I'll go 400 grit on the grinder and then hand sand up to 400 grit before I do the final etch. And then we can solder the guard. So with the guard all cleaned up, I'm now going to oxidize it. I'm just going to throw it in the forge and let some forge oxides cover the surface. Now I will let it cool in the forge. Now while the guard cools down in the forge, I am going to hand sand and etch the blade. I'll start at 320 grit and work my way up to 400. And we are 100% ready to etch. Some acetone, just take any of the oils from the hands off of it. I etch this for about 10 minutes. We'll take it out. We'll clean it up. And while the blade is etching, I am going to do a rough coloring on this titanium Damascus so we can get a good look at those colors. Look at that pattern. I'm going to neutralize this and clean it up. Now I'm going to sand it with a little 600 grit. And there we go. It is etched, polished, and the darkening contrast has been done. While I was at it, I grabbed the guard out of the forge. That looks really nice. And there we go. I have it rough fit up. This is at a rough 220 grit. This will get hand sanded up to about 1000 and then buffed on the polishing wheel. make those colors really pop. Everything is ready for just a little finish sanding. I'm going to solder that guard, and this one will be finished. So I have the blade all viced up. Inside of the guard has been cleaned, and now I am going to solder the tang of the blade to the guard. I'm going to let that tang become kind of like a reserve of heat. It's going to let that heat fill up the tang and then pull itself down into the knife. And when it hits the guard, it's going to start transferring some of that to the guard. That'll hit the guard specifically in just a minute and get that hot too. And if I do this correctly, I shouldn't see any discoloration down here past the guard area. Now I will manually heat up the areas that need heated up. Now while that cools, I am going to do all the finish sanding and all the handle pieces, and I'm going to oxidize the pommel, and we'll get this assembled and it will be finished. And tonight, overnight, it will sit with epoxy. And now I'm just going to carefully hand sand all of these pieces. So I have these all cleaned off with acetone. Takes any of the oils off, and they're hung up so that they get a very even heat while I do the final heat coloring here. To oxidize the pommel. This is quite the monumental evening. I love that rough oxide texture on the guard. Matches the pommel. Very, very happy with this knife. Let's get a couple flybys. So the last, about 2 weeks that I've been working on this have been really, really incredible. I've never done anything quite like this. I've done quite a bit of Damascus, never a Damascus dagger, and to do a Damascus dagger with titanium Damascus spacers that I also made is just really, really amazing. I am beyond happy with this knife. It is just an amazing knife. I will do the final glue up on the handle tonight, but that won't change at all how it looks. It will just make the handle not have any kind of wobble, wiggle, It will be disassemblable, doing a false glue up. So you'll always be able to take the pommel off in case you need to recolor the titanium Damascus spacers, because it takes a lot of heat to do that. So you have to be able to disassemble it. So, that being said, it's not going to be a permanent glue up, but it will be a false glue up to essentially make the handle material fit the Tang, to bed into the Tang perfectly. I cannot express quite, how amazing this is. It's turned out really, really cool. I am so excited to be making further projects for you guys. And also, I did want to mention that this knife will be for sale. The link below on my website, charlesjonesblades.com, and there you'll also find my Etsy store, as well as all of my social media, so go ahead and give me a follow if you want to stay updated with all of my projects. There's only a small number of projects that I get to showcase on my YouTube channel, but you will see pictures of just about everything that I make on my Facebook and Instagram. You can go ahead and check that out at the links below. If you liked this video, and if you like the series of videos, please like and subscribe. And I have many more creations for you guys. I have already started filming. The next series is going to be about making some folding knives. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Stainless Damascus and titanium Damascus. So, catch you guys on the next video, and thank you for watching. Thank you. It has been really an amazing journey. You have a wonderful rest of your day. See you next time on Let's Make a Knife.